Good morning. For those of you who were with us the first session, welcome back. And for those of you who are just now tuning in and joining us, welcome to the Caring for the Veteran Caregiver Conference. My name is Candace Christensen, and I'm the coordinator for the Caregiver Coalition of Northeast Florida. We're super happy to have you and super excited to start this next session with Kathryn. So before we get started, I want to quickly go over a few housekeeping items. So the session is being recorded and it's going to be posted to our website. I will probably do that next week. For that reason, if you could please stay muted and keep your cameras off through the duration of the conference, just so we can eliminate any potential distractions. You can turn your speaker view on in the top right corner of the Zoom screen, and that will make it easier to see Kathryn as she's presenting. We are utilizing the chat box feature for questions. So if at any point during the presentation you have any questions, you can type it into the chat and I'll make sure that we get to them. And then lastly, hopefully this doesn't happen, but in case we run into any technical difficulties, please be patient. We're going to try and resolve them as quickly as possible. So moving on, I'd like to introduce Linda Levin. She's the CEO of ElderSource and an executive committee member of the Caregiver Coalition. It's all yours, Linda.
Thank you, Candace. And it is such a pleasure to be here this morning, acknowledging our veterans and the caregivers who stand behind them and support them every single day. As an area agency on aging, we at ElderSource have the opportunity to connect caregivers in Northeast Florida to resources through our Elder Helpline every day. Our support of the Caregiver Coalition is inspired by the vision that Northeast Florida is a place where all caregivers have knowledge of and access to resources that support the caregiver and those in their care. Our second session this morning introduces an organization local to Jacksonville that serves the unique purpose of bringing mindfulness and yoga practices to underserved populations in our area. Yoga for Change was founded by Kathryn Thomas in 2014 as a way to bring these practices to veterans, incarcerated individuals, youth, and those struggling with substance abuse. Kathryn herself is a Navy veteran who achieved her dream of becoming a helicopter pilot before being medically separated from the US Navy. Through yoga, she was able to find strength, healing, and rediscover her own sense of self. Her experience inspired her to help others dealing with traumatic experiences. Kathryn, we're excited to have you. Welcome, and we're turning it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Caregivers Coalition of Northeast Florida, for hosting me and allowing us to talk more about Yoga for Change and what we are doing in the veteran community. So when we were talking today, as I'm sort of opening up the discussion, just kind of look around your space and just make sure that you potentially have enough room that if you're at a desk, maybe you push away from the desk a little bit so that you'll have sort of an area to do any sort of arm movements that won't potentially hit either the desk or potentially somebody else near you. So maybe just kind of get into a more comfortable space wherever you are. Thank you for the introduction. Again, thank you for having me. My name is Kathryn Thomas, and I am a veteran who flew helicopters, as you heard. And on deployment, I was injured and told I would never fly helicopters again. Going through my life and wanting to achieve that dream and then achieving wings of gold and then being told I would never fly again sent me into a spiral. My injuries do cause chronic pain, so I'm in pain every day. And I also am a survivor of military sexual trauma. So the physical pain, the mental, and the emotional pain is something that I deal with every day. My physical therapist, while I was still in active duty service, suggested that I start to take yoga. And because of his suggestion, I was able to find a practice, both of movement and of breathing, that helps me deal with chronic pain, my mental emotional struggle. And I'm very grateful for his suggestion because, to be honest, I do not know where I would be in this world without yoga. I have a fantastic partner. My husband is amazing, and we were married while I was a helicopter pilot. So together, we have gone through quite a bit of shifts. I understand a lot of caregivers, when you are caring for parents, I know there's some people that are caring for their parents or siblings here based on some of the survey responses, but there's also caregivers that are caring for who initially were complete strangers, and now they're sort of caring for them and ensuring that their daily life is better. And so this presentation is hoping to explain some ways that trauma affects the body, and also allows you as a caregiver to implement some movement and breathing practices that we have been found to work for me personally, but also for our students. And Candace, you can go to the next slide. So as they said, Yoga for Change does bring yoga service or yoga to veterans, incarcerated individuals, youth, and we've actually just recently updated our mission to anybody with mental health struggles. So we used to only serve very specific individuals that are part of recovery, but currently we're serving people with mental health struggles. And although I can't see your hands, I think right now everybody in this current environment is struggling just a little bit with your mental health. So raise your hand up high, be proud that you are not alone in your struggle of isolation or depression or anxiety with the current environment. A lot of us are dealing with that. You can go to the next slide, please, Candace. So yoga has been proven multiple years. It's not a new methodology at all. Yoga is a traditional practice, and it's been proven to increase someone's mood. And what we mean by that is feelings, feeling of sadness or of joy, those usually last between 5 and 7 minutes. And then your body either continues with a different variation of that feeling, or potentially a different feeling occurs. And so what we are doing is allowing individuals to implement movement and breath into their lives to increase that mood. So the book 10% Happier, we have been studied, our program has been studied by Boston University, and it's been proven to actually increase people's mood after an hour of practice by at least 20%. So we're able to increase somebody's happiness by 20% over what they initially thought. Benefits of yoga, it's also been proven to decrease stress and anxiety. So when I was told to practice yoga at that time, I literally would have done anything that my physical therapist recommended, because I just wanted to fly helicopters. And I was nervous and anxious about getting out of the military. I think a lot of caregivers who are working with family members or spouses who've been separated due to their medical situation can attest that it's pretty scary initially just being in pain, but adding on now your career is gone, that is a stress and anxiety that we deal with every day. And so yoga has been proven to decrease that. It also increases post-traumatic growth. And so the study that we're basing all these data points on is an internal study done by Boston University on our correctional programming. And what they found is individuals who were incarcerated, when compared to individuals who were incarcerated that were not offered our programming, individuals who were incarcerated after taking our programming actually had their post-traumatic growth, their growth from their trauma was actually increased. So in an incarceration, that's a very stressful, anxiety-ridden place, being in jail or prison. And our people who are in our programming were able to deal with that trauma while incarcerated. So when they were released, the act of incarceration was not leading to them having PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And also, yoga has been proven to decrease pain. So as I said, I am a service-disabled veteran who deals with pain every day. I just found out actually a couple weeks ago or 2 weeks ago that I have 2 herniated discs. So for me, it was great to understand that the pain was just not all in my head, that I actually have an MRI that backs up what's going on with my pain. But because of the yoga practice, because of the breathing and the movements that we're going to practice today, I was able to take control back of my pain. And right now, in this environment with COVID and not, being told you have to wear your mask 11 hours a day, I think somebody said, there's a lot of control there, right? A lot of control has been taken away. So if we can give caregivers back some control over their pain, as opposed to reaching for a pill or numbing out the pain, then we can increase the way that we are connecting with ourselves, which will help connecting with others. You can go to the next slide, Candace. So what yoga has been able to do is allow individuals who've experienced trauma, to deal with that trauma in a new way, as opposed to reaching for a pill or a drink or engaging in high-risk activity. And because right now, language in our country, we really want to kind of get everybody on the same sheet of music. The way that we're looking at the word trauma is a direct personal experience of an event, or witnessing of an event, or learning about an event. So let's just take a car accident. If two of us were in the car together, if Candace and I were in the car together, and we were driving and we got into a car accident, and we both walked away, so we were not physically injured, our psyche, our mental emotional status may be completely different. Candace may just continue on her walk. It's just a normal Friday for her. But for me, based on potentially past experiences, or based on just never experiencing a car accident, that event might have been traumatic. So although we were in the same car together, we experienced that trauma differently. And so that also allows people to kind of look at where they are in their lives. You may have an issue that is extremely important and actually running you, and somebody else may look at you and just say, just get over it. But the problem is you can't, because it's a personal experience. On top of that, if we witnessed a car accident, if Candace and I witnessed a car accident, she may not be affected, right? Just a normal Friday for her. But for me, that may immediately go back to potential prior experiences in my life, and that may affect me. Or if we actually learn about a car accident. So if Candace and I were just talking and somebody came and told us there was a really bad car accident on JTB today, which is a road in Jacksonville, Candace and I, again, Candace may not be affected, but I could take that really personally, because it is a personal experience. It's not what society tells you is trauma, but it's what we as individuals interpret as trauma. Next slide, please, Candace. So in yoga, what we're doing is attempting to get people to only focus right in this practice on their body and on their breath. And what that allows us to do, it allows us to focus on something that we can control, right? You all could take a big inhale in now, and you can hold it. I mean, yes, you could pass out and then you would start breathing, automatically, but the idea is that you could actually control what your body is doing, or potentially control where your arms are if you wanted to lift them up to your shoulders. And so what I wanted to do is bring together a lot of consensus to kind of show how we are really connected. So what has been the most difficult thing about COVID-19 for you? This was part of the intro survey that you had when you came in. And as you can see, it's a little bit of a word blog, and we had a lot of longer responses. But the words that are highlighted are based on how many people responded with those words. So we had a lot of individuals talk about being isolated from my friends, isolated from my family, isolated with potentially an aggressive person, isolated, and that has been the most difficult thing about COVID-19 for me. Please feel free to chat if something else is coming up for you, because I think from the time that the survey happened to now, something could have changed, right? But I want to show how we have a lot of connection here. Even though we are isolated, many of our fellow caregivers, many of our fellow veterans, maybe many of our fellow family members or friends are dealing with a lot of the same issues, or are hurting just like we are. And that is actually a connection tool, because what we can do is find connectivity between our traumas. Okay, so a lot of talking. So now we're going to do some little bit of breathing. So in your mind, try to think about what has been the most difficult thing of COVID-19 for you. And if you can't think of anything, there's a lot of words here. So for me, COVID-19 has the isolation, the loss of face-to-face contact has been really hard, and I've had to adjust to that. So come to a comfortable seated position. Maybe it's crisscross applesauce, maybe your feet are on the floor, but wherever you are, notice where your body is in space. And what I'd like you to do is bring your shoulders so that they're over your hips, so one line. And then allow your hands to fall wherever they fall. Maybe they're face down on your knees, maybe they're palms up towards the ceiling. If you're driving, obviously don't take your hands off the wheel, but just Notice how you can sit a little bit more straight. When we teach children, we say create a fearless spine. So what would a fearless spine look for you today? And then start to notice your breath. You can close your eyes or keep them open, whatever's most comfortable for you. And as you notice your inhale, just notice how your body is inhaling. Are you breathing from your belly to the top of your chest? Are you feeling the top of your chest first and then your belly? Are you only breathing in your belly or only breathing in your chest? Just notice what's occurring right now for you. Don't change anything, just notice. Notice at the top of your mouth, if your tongue is just glued to the top of your mouth, can you release your tongue into the lower part of your jaw? Release tension in your cheeks. Now, as we sit here, come to a thought of what has been the most difficult time about COVID-19 for you. Notice your breath as you inhale in. Notice your breath as you exhale out. And now, as you inhale in, attempt to deepen your breath. And what I mean by that is attempt to breathe into your belly, the base of your belly. Inhale in. And now lengthen your exhale out. Make your exhale longer than your inhale. Maybe you inhale in for 3. Inhale, inhale, inhale. And let's exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale for 3. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale for 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Inhale for 3. Pause. Exhale for 4. Pause. Allow your breath to come back into your body naturally. Inhale. And open up your mouth. Exhale. So as you were sitting there and you were thinking about what has been difficult about COVID-19, when we got to the breath, I wonder, and please chat, I wonder if that thought just left your mind because you were able to focus on the present moment, on the breath, right? On your belly. Was your belly inhaling first or your chest? So bringing your awareness more body-centric. Because what we as an organization do, we're bringing people's awareness to their body. Okay, next slide, please, Candace. So what has been the biggest stressor over the last several months? Now, for me, isolation has still been a big stressor for the last couple months, but this allows people to kind of, as opposed to since COVID began, back whenever that happens, it feels like it was 20 million years ago, to be honest with you, all the different things that we've had to deal with in between the start of COVID and now. But over the last several months, isolation, again, is a major thing that people talked about, but also COVID, a lot of fear, right? The stressor was actually fear. So a very clear feeling word. We also had money and loss of job, loss of income, and death. And so why I wanted to talk about this again is to show that we're very connected, but also to show that it is okay to have feelings in your body. When we talk to individuals who are incarcerated, I like to remind them that you can feel all your feelings on your yoga mat here while you're here, because you can't really engage and feel all your feelings while you're incarcerated, because that might not be a safe, if you will, a safe place for you to feel them, right? You can't really feel vulnerable in jail because you don't know if somebody would take advantage of that vulnerability. Same thing for a caregiver, right? When we're attempting to give care, if you're coming in with a lot of your own insecurities and your own feelings and your own stressors, are you able to fully engage and fully connect with the person you're giving care to? the story about you can't pour from an empty cup, right? If you have a full cup of water, you can give away some. You can give some to your partner. You can give away some to your kids. You can give away some to your pets. You can give away some to the people that you're caring for. You can give away some to your parents. You can give away some to your neighbors. And eventually that cup becomes empty. And so for we as individuals, we also need to feel love for ourselves. We also need to feel joy about ourselves, because we have to keep rebuilding who we are so that we actually can show up and be a space, if you will, or a person of support for someone else. And so although these are kind of hard words to see, right? How can we now take what we know as stressors and allow that to become strengths in our own life, right? Because when you show up to an individual to give care, let's say it's a new patient or new client, you don't know what they're stressed out about. However, we are all human beings, and we are all in some situation of similarity at this current time, because we're all living in COVID, in the pandemic. We're all living in history right now. And so all the fears and insecurities that I feel are very similar to almost every single thing that's been said on the responses for this. And so I bring that up because it's something that you should not feel ashamed about. Instead, it's something that you can actually connect with. So something that I do with my 4-year-old kid, so please feel free to use this with anybody, is last night she was sad because she did not listen, and so she did not get a piece of chocolate before bedtime, which is something, a little bit ritual that we have. So we had to take away the chocolate, right? It was a very big deal to her, and she was very sad. And so I asked her to describe the sadness. And I said, where in your body are you feeling sad? And so she pointed to her tummy, and then I asked her to describe what it felt like. And I said, is it a monster sad? Is it a black, just a black feeling sad? Is it a cement sad, or is it sticky? And so she said it was sticky sad. And so I asked her, let's just get out the sticky sad. And so what we're doing is we're now shifting the way we look at feelings, because again, feelings live in your body between 5 and 7 minutes. And if you can just get through that peak, through that crest of that feeling, you can come down the other side. So this is something that we've done before, me and my little kid. But I also do it almost any time I'm feeling really frustrated, and it's called tapping. And so what you're gonna do is come to a comfortable seated position wherever you are. If you are in the car, you can do this, one hand on the wheel. And what you'll do is you'll take one hand out. So I'm just putting my right hand out, and I'm just tapping with my left hand on my right hand. I'm tapping up my arm, and I get to control, right? I get to control the intensity of the tap. And I'm just tapping away whatever the last stressor over the past couple years has been. And now tap across your chest. And I'll take both hands and just tap on your chest. And again, you can go hard as you want or as soft as you want. Roll your shoulders up to your ears, roll your shoulders back. Maybe you need to tap a little bit harder. Maybe you need to tap a little bit softer. Shoulders up, shoulders back. Now straighten out your right hand, and you're going to tap straighten out your left hand. You're going to tap with your right hand all the way down your left arm. Take as much time as you need. You can turn your arm over, so you're tapping on your bicep or your tricep onto your hands. And now take a big breath in. As you exhale, you're gonna squeeze all your fingers away from each other. Open up your palms, exhale. Inhale, squeeze your fists. Exhale, open your palms. Last time, inhale, squeeze your fists. Exhale, open your palms. You just shake it out a little bit. And Candace, you can go to the next slide. And so what that does for me is it allows me to work through whatever feelings I'm feeling, and allows me to really engage in with my body in a different way, as opposed to shaming my body or not liking my body or making my body my enemy. I'm working with my body to move through what other sensation or feeling I'm not wanting to deal with. Because us as caregivers, right? Us as caregivers, we can't burn out. we have to continue, right? It's part of our job. It's part of who we are as individuals. But some of us are dealing with vicarious trauma. And what I mean by that is after a day of work, you've heard people's stories, you've seen people's injuries, you've been with a person and heard their traumatic experiences. And that actually can potentially traumatize you, right? Because back in the beginning, it's trauma is anything that we're witnessing, hearing, or experiencing as a personal experience. So if a child tells me about childhood abuse, or a veteran tells me about pain, if I've experienced that in my own life, the abuse or the pain, I not only relate to that, that actually could trigger my own, and that could resonate with me a little bit deeper than somebody who's not experienced chronic pain or childhood adverse experiences, right? And so what we want to do is say it is okay as caregivers for you to feel or experiencing vicarious trauma. It's proven that it happens, because the more vicarious trauma that you've experienced, that can lead to compassion fatigue. And what I mean by that is, if you are a caregiver and you're coming home and you're exhausted, right? And you are just going home and it's 5 o'clock and you have your glass of wine, and that's something that is kind of holding you to that day. One, it's okay, because that could be an element of self-care to fully allow you to relax. But two, it could also be something that's just hiding the compassion fatigue that you're experiencing. Because vicarious trauma and compassion fatigue can lead to burnout. And many of us know individuals who were in this profession and they were gonna do it for the long term, and after years and years, or months and months, or days of having vicarious trauma experienced, this may lead them to just feel like we have to move on to a different profession because I am burning out. I am not able to be who I want to be at the beginning of the day. And by the end of the day, I don't even want to be who I am, right? And I've experienced that. I have felt that in this work, but also in other work that I've been up to. And so I understand that there's a lot of shame sometimes that occurs with not feeling like you're good enough. But at the same time, we as individuals have the power to control our feelings and sensations with maybe a different type of self-care, right? Going for a run or implementing yoga into our daily routine. And so for us today, as this group, caregivers, I really wanted to focus on allowing us to experience what it would be like to start potentially adding yoga into a daily practice. And so 3 things that I just wanted to bring up. When we start something new, there's also that potential burnout just from doing yoga, right? Like you jump in feet first, and you're going to do an hour of yoga every day. And as opposed to potentially meeting your goals, why, as an individual, I ask, why are we trying to be the best person at yoga that we can be, right? It takes a long time. So as opposed to setting goals that are not achievable, why not just add 1 breathing practice 3 days a week? And then after you do that breathing practice, maybe add it in 5 days a week. And then maybe you add in the more time and then the intensity, right? So think about it as frequency, time, and intensity. So add in the frequency, just add in a couple breaths that we're going to practice here together throughout your day, and then potentially increase the time, and then increase the intensity, right? The type that we're doing. You can go to the next slide, Candace. So Yoga for Change is an embodied approach to resilience. And so as we close out, because now we're just going to do some breathing techniques and then answer some questions at the very end. We are resilient human beings, right? And you can stop the slideshow at any time, Candace. We are very resilient human beings, and we know our body wants to heal, right? You cut yourself and it starts to heal. And so what I would love for us to do is to really focus on one thing that we want to change and see how we can potentially start to work on that. So think about an area of your life you want to change. It can be mental, it can be emotional, or it could be physical. And then also consider what in your life can you do to start achieving that change, right? So if you wanted to potentially decrease your stress, what could you do? What actual things could you do to get that achieve that goal. If you wanted to potentially get to a healthier weight or increase your upper body strength, what can we do to achieve that, right? Yoga, for me, is something that I've implemented in my life to decrease my own stress and to control my chronic pain. And that together allows me to have a better mental health. So I'm going to take you guys, let you guys have like just a minute to think about something. Maybe you have it immediately, but let us start to work to learn new activities that you can implement in your daily life. So we've done just lengthening our exhale breathing. That's really one of the main things that I do. If I start to feel my shoulders go up to my ears and I'm clenching the wheel in traffic, or if I'm actually just clenching my fists in a potentially heated discussion with members or friends, I just want to release whatever tension I'm holding on to. So we're going to do something called alternate nostril breathing. What that is we are going to engage the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we have a traumatic experience occur, autonomous nervous system, so we cannot really control it, the sympathetic nervous system engages, right? That's the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response, okay? So many of us have heard of the fight, flight response. The freeze and the fawn are two new ones that are coming out. I can go way more into detail on a different discussion for that, but right now, I just want you guys to kind of think about situations in your life that could cause a fight or flight response, fawn or freeze. A car accident is a really good one, right? Your adrenaline is released, and the way that you react to that situation is totally out of your control. So in order to engage the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest, renew response, which is the opposite of being totally elevated and ready to go with adrenaline, it's how we get to sleep. That's the response that we want to learn how to engage quicker. Because if you can engage your parasympathetic nervous system, then you can actually go and fall asleep quicker. You can actually stay asleep, and if you wake up, you can fall back asleep with some of these tools. So we're going to do what's called alternate nostril breathing. So you're going to come to a comfortable seated position wherever you are. And again, just notice your space, right? Like, just notice if something happened, where's the door? Just notice. Notice your breathing. Notice your normal breath. If you haven't washed your hands in today's environment, please definitely wash your hands before you're gonna do this, because we are gonna touch your face. So you're gonna make just a thumb and an index finger. And what we're gonna end up doing is breathing in the right nostril, breathing out of the left nostril, breathing in through the left nostril, and breathing out through the right nostril. So I'm just gonna demo it. We're gonna do 4 rounds of this just so that you can fully experience this. Again, if you haven't washed your hands recently, I don't recommend this, obviously. But if you have washed your hands, you have a second to go wash your hands, please do so. So take a normal breath in, normal breath out. You're gonna plug your left nostril with your thumb, breathe in. Plug your right nostril with your index finger, breathe out through your left nose. In through your left. Out through your right. In through your right. Out through your left. In through your left. Out through your right. 2 more times. In breath through your right. Out through your left. In through your left. Out through your right. Last time. In breath right. Out through your left. In through your left. Out through your right. Normal breath in. Normal breath out. Last breath in. Open up your mouth, exhale. Ha. Awesome. So if you wouldn't mind chatting, if you have a second or you have anything that you want to say, please do so. It allows us, even though we're kind of disconnected and I can't see your wonderful faces, it allows us just to kind of check in and make sure you guys are doing okay. And so that breath I use, like I said, if I'm having a stressful situation. I don't necessarily do that in traffic, but I do that before I go to sleep, if I wake up in the middle of the night, if I have a night terror. Those are the things that I implement for that. So there's also these times, right? There's also these times that you may be very lackadaisical or kind of I want to say blah, but sort of not lazy, but very just tired and unable to engage and not wanting to engage. It's been a really hard day and you're not really feeling like you want to get up and to move. And so something that we do with our students, with our children a lot of times, is the ability for them to, they're tired and they're sort of only sleeping in school. We want to get them up so that they can start to learn. The other situation I've actually used this in is in a jail. And there were multiple different reasons why the cafeteria was full of individuals, and I had to walk through the cafeteria to get to a classroom. And I was extremely nervous because I had to walk through the inmates, and there was not any sort of correctional officers with me, so I was just basically walking through a bunch of people that I did not know. And so we're going to do lion's breath. And for me, what that does is it calms a lot of my own anxiety, but it doesn't put me into a parasympathetic state where I'm sort of exhausted or tired or can fall asleep. Instead, I'm still able to be active and still able to engage. And so here's the deal. We're going to stick out our tongues. So if you're wearing a mask, you can still do this. You don't need to stick out your tongue. And I am going to have a funny face in the video. So if anything, this is just to make you laugh. But this also allows people to kind of connect with each other, right? And so this is when I did this with the people in the incarceration facility. Obviously, this is before COVID, but I did so to kind of make connections and to make people laugh. So you're going to inhale in. You're going to exhale, stick out your tongue. Inhale in. Exhale. Inhale in. 2 more. Exhale. Inhale in. Exhale. Normal breath in. Normal breath out. I do that with my 4-year-old if she is just finishing sort of a hard day, and it just allows us to kind of laugh, and it also allows us to be silly. The temperature on my skin actually increased because, like I said, it allows you to get rid of stress, but allows you to still keep that action, if you will. But what also I really like is it allows people, because if you look into somebody else's eyes while they're doing that, it allows there to be a super deep connection that not only do I see you and I see you, but I know you see me. And so for sometimes, especially in the COVID environment, for us to totally not be able to see each other and not to look into each other's eyes, we're missing that connection, and that allows us to feel more isolated. So by being able to do that, either through a Zoom platform, but in person is really important. And then now what we're going to be able to do for the next 10 to 15 minutes is some easy sort of stretching. So we worked on some breathing. We worked on alternate nostril breathing and lion's breath. And now we're going to do some movement activities. For movement, we've already done some tapping exercises. So for our seat, wherever you are, if you're in a car, sorry, I lost that word, car. If you're in a car, you can do this. But I would recommend obviously to pull over before you engage at all in any sort of movement activity. So take a normal breath in and just see what your body is up to. And in your body, can you identify any sort of pain or any sort of areas that are giving you discomfort or hurting? Just notice that. For me, my left hip's hurting a little bit today, and my left ankle is hurting right now. My right low back and my shoulders feel a little bit tight, right? So wherever you are, we're gonna just start rolling our shoulders back and then rolling them up and forward. Maybe you match your body movement with breath, right? So maybe when you inhale, you bring your shoulders up to your ears, and as you exhale, you let them go down your back. Go as fast or slow as you want, but I recommend going super slow so you can feel if there's any sort of tension. On your next inhale, reverse direction. So come up towards your ears, and as you exhale, allow them to come forward. Inhale. Exhale. Notice your breath. Notice your shoulders. Last one, in breath. Last one out. Now again, just notice where you are, right? So that allowed me to feel my spine in just a new way. Sitting with a straight spine, a fearless spine, earlobes over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Take a breath in. Exhale through your nose. On your next inhale, bring your chin towards your chest. So what you're just doing is you're lengthening the back of your neck. You don't want any wrinkles in the back of your neck. And either maybe you stay here, right? If you stay here, or bring your chin towards your left shoulder. Now we're attempting to lengthen the distance between our right earlobe and the right of our shoulder blade. So maybe you bring your right shoulder up towards your ears, your right ear, and then allow your right shoulder to go down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, you bring your right shoulder up to your ear. Exhale, drop it down. I feel that stretch. Inhale, bring your shoulder up. Exhale, down. I feel that right behind my ear. Inhale, exhale. And notice your shoulders. Is one shoulder forward or back, straight or square off your shoulders. And now with your chin towards your left shoulder, bring your left hand and allow your left hand to reach for your right ear, pressing your right shoulder away. So again, lengthening the distance between your earlobe and your shoulder and allowing the weight of your arm to pull your chin in a diagonal line towards your left side of your collarbone. 2 more breaths like this. Last breath in. Exhale. Drop your left hand down towards your knee. Bring your chin back towards your chest. And notice what you feel. Notice if you feel length in your right side compared to your left. We get to do 2 sides. So bring your chin towards your right shoulder. Notice the difference on this side. Is one side more tight or one side more open? Bring your left shoulder towards your left ear. Exhale, allow it to go back. 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Squaring your shoulders, so notice if one shoulder is forward or back. And now take your right hand and you're gonna bring your right hand across and just into your left ear, not into, sorry, just holding on right below your left ear. Allow the gravity of your arm just to lengthen the distance between your left earlobe and your left shoulder. Inhale, exhale. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Release your right hand towards your right knee, chin back towards your chest. And now nice and slowly sit up straight where your nose is parallel to the floor below. Big breath in. Bigger breath out. Ha. Now take your index and your middle finger and you're gonna find your jawbone here. And so notice just one position that might be tight, right? And you're gonna start making circles forward. Inhale in, exhale out. Inhale in, exhale out. Inhale in. On your next exhale, can you reverse directions? I like to go slower when I reverse directions. It just, for me, it feels just a little bit more loving. Inhale in, exhale out. Inhale in, exhale out. Now just move your position. So I like to go below my jawbone. There's my jawbone a little bit forward. And I like to go above my jawbone, right at my temples. So I'm going forward with my fingers first. Inhale in. I get to control the intensity of how much I'm pressing into my temples. Exhale out. I get to control what my thoughts are. So can you only concentrate on your inhale in and your next exhale out? And then can you reverse directions? Inhale in. Oh, that's a good one. Exhale out. Inhale in. Exhale out. Last one, in breath. Last out breath. Drop your hands and just notice your jaw. For me, it always feels a little bit more heavy after I open it, after doing some of those movements and massaging, if you will. But it's really a great way to notice how much tension I'm keeping in my jaw. So now you're gonna take your hands, I'm gonna turn to the side, stay straight towards the computer if that's what you need. But I just wanted to demonstrate. So as you sit and you roll your shoulders back, try to keep a fearless spine. And now you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna press them away from you. Inhale in. And as you exhale, round your spine. So really allow your tummy to come into your spine and just allow that. For me, I feel the stretch on the top of my back, in the top vertebrae. Inhale in, straighten up. Exhale out. 3 more, inhale. Exhale. You're doing it perfectly. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Now, if your legs are crisscross applesauce, come back to a fearless spine. You're gonna switch the lock of your legs. So if your feet are just on the floor, that's totally okay. But if you have been sitting crisscross applesauce, switch the lock of your legs, which means you're gonna switch which leg is in front. And now take a normal fist, whatever that is, and you're gonna differentiate whatever thumb is on top, right? So it should be just the way that you normally do it. We're gonna do it the way that you don't normally do it, right? So you're gonna have your fist away from you, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull your shoulders back onto your spine, so you're pressing your shoulder blades into your spine. Big breath in, and as you exhale, you're gonna push your shoulders away. Inhale your shoulders onto your back. Exhale, push it away. Only moving your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Release your hands. Just shake them out. Shake your hands out. Shake your hands out. Take a normal breath in. And exhale. Ha. Do it again. Lion's breath. Big breath in. Ha. 1 more. Inhale in. Ha. Allow your hands to fall back to your knees. Notice where you are. Notice what you feel in your body and sensations you feel. And then Candace, if there's any questions that you just want to interrupt and shoot at me, that's great. I'm going to continue with some twists if we don't have any questions.
Hey, Kathryn, we don't have any questions at the moment, but I do want to encourage everyone. You can put in the chat whether you have thoughts or anything you want to discuss or any questions, you know, please feel free to put them in the chat. Don't be shy. We're here for another 10 minutes. So yeah. Thank you, Kathryn.
So, totally. I am personally just doing exercises based on my own physical pain right now. And so if there's anything that you want to work on, like my low back, sorry, I'm going to do twists now just because my low back is a little bit hurting. And so that's what I'd love to do. If you have, that was really for shoulders. So again, any sort of, you can do this kind of where your palms are away from you, palms are towards each other. It's just a different way to engage your shoulders. But if you have other things like your hips are hurting, you have sciatic nerves issues, let us know so that we can kind of work that into the next couple exercises that we do. Okay, so we're doing a lot of twisting here. And so again, if you're in a car and you have your seatbelt on, I'm assuming that everyone is in a car, they're pulled over to the side of the road and doing this. So let's just be safe with that, obviously. But if you have a seatbelt on, you're on the side of the road, I just invite you to take it off so you can just have a little bit more availability for a twist, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put your hands on your hips. Cool. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull our belly button into our spine, and then you're just gonna slowly twist. And just notice what the rotation is that you have, right? So as opposed to trying to go to your fullest expansion of this, let's just do a little bit just to kind of see what rotation we have in our low back, right? We wanna be very careful here. Inhale and pull your belly into your spine. Exhale, twist. If you're in a car, you can just do one arm. Inhale, belly to spine. Exhale, twist. One more only. Inhale, belly to spine. Exhale, twist. Come back to the center. I'm gonna do both hands on my sides now. So really just showing where my hips are on my body. Inhale, belly goes into spine. Exhale, twist. Two more. Inhale, belly to spine. Exhale, twist. Last one, inhale, belly to spine. Exhale, twist. Next inhale, you come back to the center. Now, you're gonna take your right hand, you're gonna press it onto your left knee. If you are in a car and your legs are straight, you can do that. I'm actually gonna straighten my legs for you. But my preferred method is to do it with my crisscross applesauce, right? So take your right hand to your left knee, wherever you are, and you can have your left hand on your belly just to ensure that you're engaging your belly to protect your low back. Or you can take your left hand and put it behind you, whatever is more accessible to you, right? So I'm gonna take my hand and put it on my belly just to protect my low back. Inhale, lengthen your spine, fearless spine, inhale. And from your shoulder, can you lead with your shoulder now? You're allowing your shoulder to lead the twist. As you exhale, you twist. Two more, inhale. Exhale, twist. Last one, inhale. Exhale, twist. And now stay here. If you want to look over your shoulder, your left shoulder, you can, or you don't need to, right? You can look forward over your right shoulder, whatever's comfortable for you in your body. 3 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more inhales. Exhale. Last one. As you exhale, come back, rotate to center. Maybe you place your right hand on your belly now and your left hand on your right knee. Left hand on right knee. Inhale. Allow your right shoulder to lead. Exhale, twist. And what's great about the body, inhale, is each side is different. Exhale, twist. Maybe the side is easier for you. Inhale, 2 more. Exhale, twist. Maybe this side has more tension. Last one, inhale. Exhale, twist and hold. Notice if your shoulders are coming concave forward. Can you really pull your shoulders onto your back as you sit in your seat with a fearless spine? Allow your head to turn over as you breathe towards your right shoulder if that's needed, or just keep it where it is. Last breath in. Exhale, come back towards the center. Inhale, your hands reach up towards the ceiling or the car ceiling or the outside sky if you're there. Exhale, start to circle your arms down as you allow them to fall. And then do that again. Inhale, your hands reach up towards the ceiling wherever you are, and circle your arms down as you allow them to fall. Okay. Anybody point out any other new parts of their body, Candace, that they want to work on?
So in the chat, I did have someone point out they had sciatica and hip pain.
Okay. Okay.
But everyone else is just really enjoying the practice.
Got it. Okay. So, full disclosure, I'm not at my house. My power went out in Clay County today, so I'm actually at my friend's house doing yoga. So I'm just going to show this legs straight ahead. Sorry about that. There we go. Legs straight ahead, right? For sciatic, for me, what I do is you can cross your right heel over your left leg. It may be at your shin. That might be the accessibility point that you had, or you might have it above your knee. That whatever you have today, right? So if it's here and we're gonna come forward, that's fine. But I'm gonna demonstrate the first modification I demonstrated, I talked about, which is your right heel just goes over your left shin, right? Because I'm hoping that's is accessible for everybody. So for me, I feel this in my right sciatic. If you don't feel this in your right sciatic, right? If you have no sensation, that's okay, right? Just try to get to where you do have sensation. So if you need to pull it up, you pull it up, okay? So you're gonna push your right foot, you flex your right foot as opposed to just letting it fall. You'll flex your right foot, you flex your left foot, and then you reach for your left foot. Now I have a lot of mobility because I get to practice yoga a lot. But if you don't have a lot of mobility, you can simply just lean forward and you should start to feel that, at least I feel that in my sciatic nerve. Take a breath in, pull your shoulders as opposed to just bending forward, pull your shoulders onto your back and you start to lean forward. So I don't really feel it right here in today, I'm feeling it in my hamstring, but if I was to pull my leg up a little bit higher and then lean forward, that's really where I do actually feel that quite a bit. Big breath in. Exhale. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Last one in. Exhale. Allow your right heel to go to the floor, bounce your knees up and down, then just switch sides, right? So you're gonna take your left heel, press it over your right shin bone. Higher, more intense, lower, less intense. You get to choose, you get to control the intensity here. And then you're gonna lean forward at wherever you have. So maybe you're able to touch your right foot. Maybe you're just gonna touch your right thigh. What do you have today? Where is your accessibility today? Because that's all that really matters. Not what's gonna happen tomorrow or what happened yesterday, but what's happening right now. Big breath in, and then you simply lean forward. Now, if you're in a chair and you're like, how do I do this in a chair? In a chair, if your legs were just seated and you were seated in a chair, you would simply put your leg over and then lean forward there. That was my quick and dirty explanation for that one. Big breath in. Exhale. 2 more breaths. Exhale. Last big breath in. Exhale. And final breath. So we do have a lot of YouTube videos on our YouTube that do go into low back pain or pain for menstrual cramping or pain for our yoga for shoulder pain or neck pain. And then it also goes more to advanced practices because we also understand that individuals maybe don't have 60 minutes that they actually can devote to themselves. So as opposed to not having 60 minutes, you only have 10, we have practices for that too. So the final thing I'd like to demonstrate to you is a breathing exercise. It's called a 4-part breathing exercise, and it's square breath. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna inhale for 4 seconds. We're gonna hold it for 4 seconds. We're gonna exhale for 4 seconds. And we're gonna not move, not inhale, exhale, so just hold it out for 4 seconds. So it creates a square, right? 4 count in, 4 count hold, 4 count exhale, 4 count hold. I will count. And if you can't, if it's too quick or too slow, you can go at your own count, but I'm gonna go at a nice, hopeful, steady pace, right? So come to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. I also do this when I'm walking. I've done this when I've been standing in a grocery line, so you can use this at anywhere. Now, if you wanna add to it, you can start doing finger to thumb, 3rd finger to thumb, 4th finger to thumb, pinky to thumb, and that's how I'm gonna start counting so you can kind of see that. But wherever you are, we're just gonna start. So take a big breath in. Long, slow exhale. One normal, non-controlled breath in. Normal, non-controlled exhale. And begin. Inhale, 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 inhale. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 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 exhale. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale, 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 hold. Exhale, 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 hold. 2 more times. In breath, in, hold. Exhale, 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 hold. Final time. In breath. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Uncontrolled breath in. Uncontrolled breath out. Just notice the sensations or feelings that you have in your body. Notice whatever feelings or what power do you feel in your body. No matter where you are in this whole world, I wish you a fantastic weekend. My name is Kathryn Thomas, and I am the Executive Director of Yoga for Change. You can find out more about us at y4c.org. Again, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to hopefully give you an hour of just release, and hope you know that you are enough no matter what you're doing today or tomorrow. And thank you all very, very much. Thank you.
Kathryn, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this time. If you'd like, you can open up the chat. There's been some really great things said in the chat box, some praise and encouragement that you deserve to see. So you can open that up and check it out. But thank you so much. I mean, I feel like mindfulness has kind of become more of like a household term. And, you know, the practice can really make a difference in how you view yourself and the world around you. And I just really appreciate that you could bring that with us today.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And again, we really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.